So, they give me an amazing action sequence at the beginning of this episode. Then, once everything is said and done, we have a comedic episode. I legit have not laughed so hard in a long time. Like, soon as I saw the face of Boarhead, I just... I couldn't look at him the same way anymore. I'm just like, this man is literally ripped. Like, he's a ripped man. Like, you can grind meat on his abs. That's just how crazy it is. Like, his muscles are insane. And as soon as you see the Boarhead fall off and you look at his face, I'm like, wait, what? Is he an actual she? But no, he has a very feminine looking face. And as soon as you see the image of just how he looks with his regular face, I'm just like, I can't unsee it. I can't look at him the same way. It just literally ruins this savage, like, demeanor he has because of the way his face looks. I laughed hard. Like, I seriously laughed a lot in that moment, but that's not really where it ended at. Like, I continued to laugh solid throughout the rest of the episode, where I had to pause. Like, I had to legitimately pause this episode, sit back, and laugh. I had to get up, go downstairs, go out my front door, and just laugh because it was that good. Because seeing how the interactions of he was with, Tanjiro was something I never knew I needed until today. Like, let's get right into it. What was so amazing about this episode was that Tanjiro as a character, he's someone that is too kind for his own good. He's so kind, in fact, that he wants to look at the good in people, or, he just wants to acknowledge, oh, they're tired, etc., etc., and so he always wants to help people out. He wants to be considerate of others. And then you have the character that has the feminine face, Boarhead, that just straight up, he's a savage. He wants to boast, like, I'm great, and all that, or he's trying to get underneath Tanjiro's skin, trying to steal his food, etc., but no, it wasn't just that. The thing is Tanjiro's personality, he kind of clashed with him. Like, not in a necessarily bad way. Like, Tanjiro was not understanding what the character was actually asking. He's like, yeah, you're angry, I took your food and all. He's just acting all smug about it. And Tanjiro's like, oh, you were hungry, weren't you? I understand, you're hungry, go ahead, you can have more. And the man just, like, he's literally making fun of me. Like, he's not trying to, but the way he goes about it, it's just like he's being very condescending. And just the one moment where he, like, gets onto the bed after everything that's happened, he gets on the bed, it's like, this is my spot and all that, and he just starts laying down, and then Tanjiro just like, okay, and all that, and then he looks over at Zen, and then he just gets angry because Tanjiro ignored him, and he screeches. He screamed, yo, that was amazing. He just screeches and slings the pillow at Zen. That honestly had me dying. I replayed that scene over and over just because of how the screech sound. Like, the man was just so living in that moment after the constant, moments he's tried to kind of make Tanjiro angry. Tanjiro's not getting angry, and so he just gave up in that moment and just screeched and threw a pillow. Just, like I said, it's an amazing moment of the episode. But other great moments, too, is also the scene with, seeing how Zen, he was someone that was constantly looking at the old lady like, oh, she's a monster! Yeah, Tanjiro's like, no, stop it! He's getting real angry. And there's so many moments throughout this episode that has, like, so much comedy to it. I did not expect this level of comedy from this series. And I think the reason why I laugh so hard is because the characters mesh really well. Like, Tanjiro's personality with the Boarhead's personality and Zen's personality, they work so well together. They complement each other because of how different they really are. Like, when you look at it, you have the airhead, which is Boarhead, and then you have Tanjiro, which is too kind for his own good, and then you have Zen, that is the coward. And when you look at all of them, you're just like, wow, they shouldn't work together, but they do. And I kind of feel bad for Tanjiro because he has to watch over two individuals that have their own issues. You have someone like Zen that obviously is very strong and he has his own will about him that, you know, he could stand up. We saw it in the previous episode, but even then, he's still technically, fundamentally a coward until, you know, going gets tough. And then you have the hot-headed one that just will not listen to reason and just only is concerned about themselves and making themselves look good, etc. And when you think about it, Tanjiro has a really hard future ahead of him, taking care of these two individuals and making sure they stay out of trouble, because there's definitely going to be a lot of trouble that's going to happen. I mean, it's bound to happen because of how they interacted just alone in this episode. So, getting right into it, this episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba, it honestly, I think what this episode was really wanting to show is that how these characters like Zen, Boarhead, and, you know, Tanjiro, how they're going to be interacting with each other. I'm assuming this is going to be like our main party, because this is, at the end of the day, a shonen, and usually shonen do have a cast of characters that travel with the MC in something kind of like this, or work together. And I'm feeling like the two characters that have recently been introduced in this latest arc are probably going to be reoccurring characters that stick around and potentially even traveling with our main character, which I'm all for. After seeing the introduction of the two characters, I love them both. I want more of them. They're great in their own personal way, and I do want to see more of their interactions, because if I could say one thing, this episode gave me so much happiness. I laughed non-stop, and like I said, I haven't had this much fun with a show in terms of just enjoyment and laughing in a very long time. So, I want more of this, and I do hope that this isn't the only time that we see comedy like this from Demon Slayer. I would like to see it, you know, constantly throughout the remaining of the series. So, anything really to get into? I guess one big important thing that needs to be talked about, though, is the major moment of how the three characters need to rest. It is something that I'm pretty happy about. I just expressed my opinion on it previous episode reviews ago, talking about how in most fighting series, usually the main character or main characters, they get wounds from a fight, but then magically the wounds disappear in like the next chapter or next episode. And I'm glad to see Demon Slayer isn't that type of series, to where it forgets about the injuries that our characters grab or get from their fights, and that when they have to go into a next fight, they're carrying those injuries with them. And so seeing how Tanjiro and his group has to actually heal up and take some downtime, I respect that, because even if some might get a little bit bored with the part of characters getting injured and we needing some downtime, it is something that needs to be done, because at the end of the day, they still technically are human unless it's said otherwise that they can magically heal, but until then, they really can't. So they need to be able to rest. And Tanjiro having a broken rib, Zen having a broken rib, and the new character having a broken rib, all of them having broken ribs, they need to be able to rest. That's not something that just disappears after one fight. It takes a while for that to properly heal. It makes me wonder, though, how long are they able to kind of stay out of this condition? Like, is there any way that they can have a speedy recovery? Like, since they're staying in a place that gives them good hospitality and also allowing them to recover, I wonder if there's any solution for them to heal faster or not, because that is something I could definitely see being implemented into the story, is that maybe there's an individual that has the ability to fix someone up and heal them to get them back in the fight quicker. But overall, though, I do think that this is a fantastic episode just for introductions alone. Now, besides that, I want to talk about the fighting segment. The fighting segment at the beginning of this episode kind of stunned me. I did not expect to see the fighting that good. Like, it was good. It was honestly the best animation we have seen from Demon Slayer thus far. That's how good the animation was. Like, seeing the barehanded fist fight, seeing how the characters were literally bending, moving, flipping, and all that, I was just like, I thought it was going to be like for a few frames, or like a few little scenes, but it was just going on and on with this fluid animation and the fighting and all that, and I'm like, whoa, when is this going to end? It's not like I wanted it to end, I'm just like, I expected a scene that looked that good to end very quickly, but it continued to go on and on until the fight finally finished. I'm like, whoa, I did not expect them to just go all in for something like that. I mean, I think that's kind of what made the impact of the funnier moments of this episode so much better, is because you had that serious moment to where Tanjiro was trying to calm this individual down, but also getting out his anger, and when all of a sudden, as soon as we saw this individual's face, then everything flipped, and we had a comedy segment of the episode. So I think it actually comes down to just how much effort was put into the beginning segment that made the second half just so much better. That's my personal opinion. So, yeah, that's about it. It's a great episode. I'm glad I finally got around to watching it. It's just been a very busy week since, you know, the summer of anime has begun, and there's just a lot of things I've been doing, like working on my house and stuff, like the front porch if you've been following me on social media. So forgive me for the brief delays, but everything is coming. Don't worry, there's more coming after this as well. But I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.